Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and you're watching the morning forecast show. We're live every single trading morning. And today's story is XRP eyeing up $10. The ETF could be approval could be days away now. We've got AMD soaring on a new deal. We've got BlackRock IBITs coming close to 100 billion under management and being the most profitable ETF. We've got tokenization also taking over the industry and how that can reshape the financial world. So we've got a lot to go through. That's the point of these morning forecast shows. We pick some topics, the top stories. Again, we put it into our newsletter. We spend hours researching it, and then I present it to you, the top stories of the day. We've got we can quickly actually go through the top stories at a glance. Remember, you can get this for free on the newsletter. First link in the description, or it's pinned in the comment section. Just to get a glance of the top stories. Today we've actually got something very special happening on the channel. We've got another CEO on the show as part of the Meet the CEO series. So if you want to see that when it first comes out, it's going to be a members only event. So do make sure you press the join button next to the subscribe button to become a member. All members have access to the CEO events first. It will become public to general subscribers after the interview airs. So I'll give you the link for the membership if you do want to be part of that. So who are we interviewing? Well, it's actually Martyn and Vaz doing this. So it's Brandon Robinson that is live today on the show. Horizon CEO joins Martyn Lucas Investor to discuss hybrid EVTOLs. Remember, we get very excited about EVTOLs because it's a new emerging industry. It's like crypto 5 years ago, 7 years ago. It's like Tesla about 10 years ago. All of these investments that we've been looking at for a while, EVTOLs, these flying taxis, if you want to call them, is the next new thing. So we are very excited to bring that to you, and of course that's what Vaz does on the show. We've also got AMD soaring on a new OpenAI deal. AMD up 23% after a 6 billion CPU supply deal with OpenAI, including stock warrants. We've got Trump's open to health talks. This is great for the shutdown. This very much ties in with the XRP story. As soon as, and I'll explain it more later, but as soon as that shutdown's over, I expect the XRP ETF to come out days after, and that shutdown could be over this week. So Trump is open to health talks. Trump signals negotiation on ACA subsidies as US shutdown continues into a second week. Another top story is Grayscale, and this is sort of quite a big story. It's Grayscale adding staking to ETFs. So Grayscale launches US crypto ETFs with Ethereum staking rewards, unlocking passive yield for investors. So that's massive. The one drawback about these Ethereum ETFs, not so much Bitcoin because there's not much yield on Bitcoin, but one of these drawbacks of these ETFs was people would say, why would I buy the ETF when I can stake my tokens and get 3, 4, 5%? Otherwise, there's not really much benefit in holding your own crypto compared to buying an ETF. Of course, you can go down the rabbit hole of your keys, your wallets, not your keys, not your coins. However, in most scenarios, it's actually safer holding a ETF. You don't have to worry about losing your ledger, losing passwords, this, that, and the other. So the main drawback was the staking situation, but now Grayscale adds staking to ETFs. Grayscale's US crypto ETFs launches US crypto ETFs with Ethereum staking rewards, unlocking passive yield for investors. The great thing about this is essentially all the fees you pay to hold an ETF can be offset with the yield. So it's essentially a free ETF if you want to look at it that way. Remember, nothing we say on this channel is financial advice. This is our thoughts and opinions only. Please do not buy or sell based off anything we say. That would be a very unwise decision. BlackRock Bitcoin's ETF nears 100 billion. That's under management. IBIT becomes BlackRock's most profitable ETF, highlighting Bitcoin's rise as core allocation. And then we've got a deep dive on tokenization era is officially beginning. So the tokenization era begins. Assets from real estate to art are moving on chain, reshaping how ownership is issued and traded. This is massive. This is going to change everyone's lives. And you might already be using it. I'm pretty sure everyone's life has an element of tokenization already, but many, many more are to come. So those are today's top stories at a glance. Of course, all of these stories are broken down into a more detail in the newsletter itself. So make sure you do have the newsletter. Even if it is just to see today's top stories, keep ahead of the market and understand what's going on. We'll come on to the main stories in a second. We're going to have a quick look at XRP's chart right now. XRP currently sat at $2.97. My thoughts on this very much is I think Bitcoin is going to continue to be the star of the show. There might be small points where altcoins outperform Bitcoin, maybe a day or two where you see altcoins go up 10-15%. But I think Bitcoin is on its way to its next target, potentially heading up to my main next target is 133,000 for Bitcoin and then 150,000 for Bitcoin. I think those two targets, in my opinion, are quite realistic targets for the next couple months, whether it's in October or November. I do think Bitcoin will hit those targets. And as Bitcoin's doing that, and as Bitcoin's going euphoric, I think there will be an altcoin season within either this month, next month, or in December. The next few months, I do think the alt season will really start kicking off. And I think XRP will hold this $3 level. Of course, right now it's below $3, but around this $3 level, I think we'll start forming a base around the $2.94, $2.99. I think we will start holding $3 for XRP. And I do think we'll see all-time highs for XRP, whether it's this month or next month. I think we'll see, in my opinion, it's this month we see all-time highs on XRP. So that would mean XRP going past $3.50, $3.40 resistance and heading closer to $4 and seeing all-time highs on XRP, potentially $4, and then peaking out potentially at $10 for XRP. And that the catalyst of that, in my opinion, will start off with the ETF. So these ETFs coming out, I'm very confident. My views haven't changed. I'm about 100% confident that we will get an XRP ETF this year. Someone just mentioned BNB passed XRP. Yes, BNB has passed XRP in market cap. That is definitely true. But I'm actually not too worried about it because the reason BNB passed XRP wasn't because XRP is weak, not because XRP is selling off or not because XRP is crashing, it's just because of the strength from the BNB token right now. So in my opinion, that's fine because that money can flow into XRP. It can fuel the altcoin season. If BNB or tokens were passing XRP because of XRP's weakness, which is what we saw in 2022, 2021, because of the suppression of price because of the lawsuits, XRP's price was going down, other cryptos were going up, XRP was very weak compared to other tokens, and XRP started sliding down the list all the way to maybe number 8, number 9. It's never not been in the top 10, but it did slide down because of the suppression. That's when you could tell XRP is not going to make new all-time highs. There was suppression going on. This scenario is very different. Binance Coin has overtaken XRP in ranking, not because XRP is weak. XRP has been holding $3 very strong. It's up 10x over the last year. It's because BNB has had that momentum surge, the sentiments with BNB at the moment, and that's been really outperforming the market. So key distinguish there. So I'm not worried about that at all. In fact, I'm very certain XRP will outperform BNB and take back its spots. I think it will take back. It will probably pass USDT as well. So maybe will it pass Ethereum this run? I think there's a good chance it will. I think, but I'm not counting on it. Is it going to flip Bitcoin this cycle? Some people say it will. I'm very, very certain it will not. Can it flip Ethereum? It can, but again, I'm not holding my breath for XRP to flip Bitcoin. If you are watching the show, please do make sure you are hitting the like button. How many likes do we have? I don't think we've got enough likes. We've got so much to go through, and everyone's sleeping because it's quite early in the US, and most of our viewers are from the US. If you're not from the US, or even if you are from the US, please let me know in the comment section where you are from, what state or what country you're from. Let me go over to here and let's just check how many likes we have on the show. We've got 270 people watching, so we should have at least half of that. But we've only got 52. We should have at least 150 likes. Please do hit the like button. Should we put on the music? Put yes or no in the chat. Should we put on the music? Yes or no in the chat to get the likes up for a minute. Let's see. Oh, Germany, Amsterdam. Oh, I love it. Human Beings is from Germany. Zipuk is from Amsterdam. Exober is from Colorado. Terry is from Florida. Dono is from Massachusetts. I can't even say it. Eric is from New Jersey. Pasras is from Greece. Oh, I love Greece. I've been to Rhodes in Greece. That was a lovely island. Rallo is from Ohio. I have not been to the US ever in my life. No states. I've been to Mexico though. Ricardo, I know a lot of Americans like to go there for holiday. Ricardo says Tennessee. Jesse says Northport, Florida. 88 says Charlotte in New York. NC, where's NC? What's NC? NC, New Color, NC State. NC is, oh, North Carolina. Lovely. Mark says Australia. John is from Tennessee. You can see most of our audience is from the US. Human Beings is from GLA Spara. Robert says UK. Where in the UK, Robert? Stephen's from Florida. LEET is joining us from North Korea. Welcome into the show, LEET from North Korea. Vince says Dallas, Texas. Arjun says he's from Thailand. Thailand. We've been looking at the policies in Thailand. Very, very bullish for crypto. I think there's 0% capital gains tax at the moment for crypto for the next 5 years or something like that. Jam is from Atlanta. Fallon is from Georgia. Mark Vet Vlog says North Dakota. Very nice. I'm from Malaysia, says Rani Pritam. Kev Rock is from Colorado. Welcome World, says Human Beings. Jim Ricketts is from Hertfordshire in the UK. Sebastian is from NJ. I don't know. I'm not very good with my US states. And NJ state is New Jersey. Lovely. Pittsburgh is Steel. Justin is from Nashville. David Hensley, it's Sensei time. David Hensley, what state are you from? Henrik is from Denmark. We love it, Henrik. A member for 2 years. Thank you very much. Morning from the Netherlands. Angie is from Florida. Yes, I can.
Thomas Morrow donated £4.99 through a super chat. Can you look at Mobic's chart smile?
Of course, thank you, Thomas. We'll get on to some chart requests after. We'll try and do it as soon as possible. Florida says Angie, Songs for Space, Cayman Islands. David Hensley is here. San Antonio, Songs for Space says North Vietnam. Songs for Space, you're moving around. Robert says Great Yarmouth. Emmanuel is from Kenya. Welcome into the show. Brett is from Houston, Texas. We've got, who else do we have? Barcelona is Albert. Nez is from Bedworth. Tracy is from Connecticut. Thor is from Curacao. Where's that? Thomas, Thor, where is that? I've never heard of it. Oh, it's an island. Look at this. This is lovely. This is where Thor is from. Let me show you this. It looks like a lovely island. I don't know where it is. Is this where you're from, Thor? Stilly. Where is it? Colombia. Oh, it's in the Caribbean. Oh, it's next to Colombia and Venezuela. Wow, this looks beautiful. Maybe one day we can visit. North Korea represents in Songs for Space. Where exactly are you, Sensei? I'm here in the UK near London. From Virginia, Michael says, from Kent, UK. Can you look at the Mobix chart? Yes, thank you so much, Thomas Monroe, for the super chat. From Tampa, Florida, says Mando Robert is from Norfolk, here in the UK. Where were we? Derek is from Cleveland. David is from... Oh, David Hensley is also from Cleveland, Ohio. You're the same as Derek. Lovely. Louis is from Indianapolis, Indiana. Josh Monroe is also from Indiana, the Steel State. Deepa is from New York. Zepik is from... I have no idea where that is. Let's see what that is. Oh, goodness. Might not even be a place. Nope. I don't know the meaning of that. Nope, I don't understand that. Games and sports Indonesia. Yes, Mobix update. Yes, we'll do Mobix. Human being says you and your wife should go to Curacao. I've never heard of it. Does everyone already know about Curacao? I'm from Tipper. You don't think ETS will pump the price 3 to 5 days after, do you? I think they will. Yeah, I think the ETFs will push up. Okay, let's go back to the ETFs. Let me just quickly see. Craig is from Nova Scotia. Slim Maverick is from Florida. Giraffe is from in North Carolina. A Royal is from Philadelphia. John is from Florida. Karen is high from the UK. Hello, Karen. DJ Gamer is from Sterling in the United States. Sensei, I had a crazy experience. My trade went from 1,500 to 50,000. I couldn't sell it. It was locked up in my wallet and it dropped all the way to 3,000. Crazy. This must be that token you're talking about, pre-sale, and you're very excited about. Yeah, I would be very careful. Again, don't put in more than you can afford to lose, but I'm sure you already know that, Cody. It's just the people that make the money with all of these token sales, even if it's a good project, is the founders, because all of this liquidity comes in from everyone who's excited about the project. You can't sell because it's locked up, but they can sell because they've got unlocked tokens, and then that's when you see them take up all the liquidity and it'll come crashing down. I mean, even if you still have 3,000, that'd be great. I don't know if you will by the time you can unlock and actually sell and see how much liquidity there is. But even from 1,500 to 3,000, that's still doubling your money. But I'm not surprised at all. Daniel McCarley, yes, I saw your question earlier. Yes, there will be a video coming out on these ENTs either later today or tomorrow when they're launching. But they might not be launching on any exchanges tomorrow. I'll explain everything about those ENTs for Bitcoin and Ethereum only. That will be coming out in the UK, or that will potentially be allowed to come out. There'll be a video, so keep your eye out on it. Thailand says, Siri says he's from Thailand. Brazil is Lovelace. Roy is from Holland. Graham, have you heard anything about Ruby AI that is currently in pre-sale? I don't really deal with many pre-sales. I don't like it. Mando says, wow, a lot of Floridans here. Yes, there is. Monterey team says, no team tokens. The community and bots did my wallet. No team tokens, and the community and bots did my wallet was having maintenance. Cody, it sounds like you're very, very adamant everything was done perfectly with this token sale, but I would be very wary about all of these token sales. There was definitely a project, whether it's the team or the founders, it doesn't matter. Maybe the team didn't make any money, but the founders definitely would have. So there was definitely profit. If it went from 50,000 to 1,500 and your wallet was locked, whether it was maintenance issues by the team or whether it was because you're in a locked period, if that happened, that means someone took massive profits, and it wouldn't have been the people that bought in. Put some likes in, people. Yes, please do hit the like button. I'm sorry, but I think 50-50 ETF could be sell the news. Oh, right. As long as, yeah, no, I think, no, as I've always said, I think we'll build up into the ETF. Unfortunately, I'm going to explain that all in a second. I just want to get through the comments. I also think the ETF itself could be a sell the news, but that doesn't mean 3 to 5 days after, just like the Bitcoin ETF, you can't start getting some big inflows. From Massachusetts, but winter months in Florida. Oh, that's a nice way of doing it. Hello from Thailand, says Starship. Is it safe or possibly to is it safe or possibly possible to put Bitcoin in lick in lick? Oh, an LLC. Sorry. If the UK brings out the 20k limit. So Jim Ricketts, the 20k limit specifically at the moment is in proposal phase. So I wouldn't even be worried about it as of this time. You just need to keep it on your radar. And also, it's a stable coin limit. It doesn't affect as of now. I mean, the UK government can change things around, but as of now, it's the Bank of England limiting stablecoin to 20,000. And the reason that's a big issue is because in the future, most crypto holders will want to change into stablecoins, borrow against it, or earn their yield. The reason the Bank of England don't want you to do it, and this was all in the video, was because of the fact it will put banks out of business because crypto is decentralized, you can get better yields. And then everyone would potentially even move their money from banks into stablecoins to get that better yield, borrow against it, whatever they want to do. And then there'll be a run on the banks, and the banks, again, will go out of business like in 2008. So it's a stablecoin ban at the moment. It's in proposal phases. At the moment, so no real law at the moment, but it's looking to limit to 20,000 on any stablecoin holdings. Good morning, Sensei. Northumberland, says Jamie. Oh, lovely area. COVID Cash says never will hit 10 till 2026. I'm not holding my breath for $10. I am still fairly confident that we hit $10 this cycle, but it doesn't really matter whether we hit $10 or not, because I've got a very specific profits taking strategy where most of my profits will be taken out by the time we even hit $10. If the spot ETF comes out, that means they already loaded up on XRP. Not necessarily. They might buy some underlying, but yes, they will. Most of the buying will come in from inflows. Jim Ricketts says thanks. No worries, Jim Ricketts. Okay, so let me come on to the stories of today. Has everyone hit the like button while that was going on? And we're welcoming everyone from all over the world. Did we hit our 150 likes? Did we do it? Did we do it? We got 130. We were close enough. Make sure you are hitting that like button. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe. Okay, so on to the ETF. So my thoughts on the XRP ETF. Let me remind you what's happened. Everyone's still so behind on X and YouTube videos. I mean, people don't spend 10 minutes researching. Obviously, we spend hours researching, and we brought this news to you first, but others are still running with the old news. There was a 245-day deadline we've been tracking for about 245 days, ever since the XRP ETFs. And remember, it's not just XRP ETFs, it's Solana, Litecoin, Cardano, Dogecoin. They submitted their ETF filings through something called the 19B4 filings. That triggered a clock. That clock was 245 days. By the time you hit 245 days since that filing was made, the SEC has to make a decision whether they accept it or deny it. And throughout that 245-day deadline, there's many deadlines that, and the SEC, as we always said, will just delay it until they can't delay it anymore. And that's that 245-day deadline. In October, just last week on Thursday, there was the final deadline, the 245-day deadline hit, so the SEC had to make a decision. Do they accept it or do they deny it? And we were very, very confident alongside Bloomberg ETF senior ETF analyst whose full-time job is ETFs, 95% confident that the SEC will approve them, not deny them. And that was the same with XRP. The XRP ETF, the first deadline, and there was about 10 of them coming up towards the end of October. The first one, I think, was the 18th of October. We spent hours finding out each one and what the 245-day deadline was. We had the perfect table, everything. We could try and front run it. We could try and buy the rumor, which would have been beforehand, and then sell the news on the day of the ETF coming out, and then buy back a few days later when the inflows would come in. There was all sorts of strategies we could have planned. However, it all changed. About a week ago, there was a new listing standard. The SEC has asked all these issuers, Solana, XRP, Litecoin, ADA, and Dogecoin, to withdraw their 19B4 filings. They asked them to withdraw it because they're going over to a new, more efficient, quicker system. Again, very frustrating because I didn't mind waiting. We would have already had a Litecoin ETF. I wouldn't mind waiting and having a countdown for 2 weeks until we had the XRP filing, all of that. Have a bit more certainty. However, things have changed. So now this is supposed to be a quicker, more efficient system where essentially all you need is like an S1 registration statement and then you can go live. And that essentially is, it can take days. The SEC will look at it, and it takes about a day or two, and then they will go live if there's no objections or anything like that, and there shouldn't be, because these S1 registration statements are much clearer, much easier to hand out. The issue we have now is, you might be saying, well, why aren't they live? The issue now is the White House is in lockdown, or it's shut down. So the SEC is running on very, very low staffing at the moment. So here was when the news broke. It was the SEC has, Eleanor Terrett said, the SEC has asked issuers of Litecoin, XRP, Solana, ADA, and Dogecoin ETFs to withdraw their 19 B4 filings. Remember, that's the old system, the 245-day deadline. Following the approval of the generic listing standards. They've got the approval that they can start using the general listing standards, which will replace the need for those filings. The withdrawals are happening. Eric from Bloomberg has said he's now 100% sure that these ETFs will be accepted this year, after someone commented saying, why did he give the odds of 90 to 95%? Now this has happened. He said, actually, this means they're more likely to get approved. So in my opinion, and the reason I'm saying in the title that ETF approval could be days away, it can be. As soon as this shutdown ends, a few days after or a week after, and the shutdown does look like it can be potentially ending with Trump saying that they're working on negotiations. If you look at this story in today's newsletter here today, Trump is signaling openness to a healthcare talks amid ongoing shutdown. So because the SEC is running on a skeleton crew, they're not focusing on these ETFs. Once the SEC is back to work and everyone's working on stuff that aren't as important as what only 20 people can work on. I think they're only working with 45 people compared to thousands of people that work in the SEC at the moment. So they're not going to be looking into ETFs at the moment. But as soon as they're back with this new standard of the S1 forms, I expect there to be an ETF potentially a week after everything's back to normal operations. So that's why I'm saying it could be days away. If the shutdown ends today, for example, we could have an ETF by Friday or Monday. Monday next week, Friday this week. And that could send XRP's price soaring. So before, the dynamics have certainly changed a little bit. Because before we could try and front run the trade, or you can have different trading strategies. For example, the Bitcoin ETF, when the Bitcoin ETF came out, I think it was 2023. If we look at the chart for the Bitcoin ETF, I think it was early 2023, January of 2023, or January of 2024. Yes, here it was. So it was late 2023, beginning of 2024 when the ETF got approved, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check the dates. I'm pretty sure it got approved in December of 2023 and it went live in January of 2024. When did Bitcoin ETF go live? Nope, it wasn't 2021. What was IBIT? January January the 11th, 2024. Yep, I was right. Okay, so you look at this chart here. If you look at this Bitcoin chart from January of 2024, you can see this spike here, you can see this dump here, you can see this rally here. We were in a bear market, so of course we were coming out of a bear market, we were rallying, and then we started really rallying on rumors of an on a Bitcoin ETF. People started getting more bullish. Then we started getting rumors of a Bitcoin ETF. Then we got very certain that we are going to get a Bitcoin ETF, and we started pumping on that news. We were pumping 20, 30, 40% into the weeks prior and even a couple months prior to the actual approval. We were pumping. It was a buy the rumor situation. Everyone was buying the rumor of the Bitcoin ETF. We pumped essentially from about 30,000 up to 48,000. On the day of the ETF, or the day before the day of the ETF, we got a sell the news. Bitcoin's price, and I remember it because I was calling into the show, Bitcoin's price fell about 22% from the high that it went to on the buy the rumor the day before the ETF approval to about a week later. It dropped about 22%, and everyone thought, okay, that was the end. The ETF was a sell the news, which it was, and we predicted that. We said it's going to pump into the ETF. Once the ETF gets announced and it actually gets approved and it comes live, the price it's going to dump just like a sell the news event. It dumped 22% over the next 10 days, and on launch day or the day before the launch, it actually within itself dumped 15%. But then everyone said, okay, that's the end, we're going back into a bear market. But that wasn't the case. The inflows, the actual money started flowing in. This was all sentiment, this was all trading, but money actually started flowing into the ETF. And then you got the start of the bull market. You went up about 88% in about just over a month on Bitcoin's price action. That was based off real money coming into the market. So what we were hoping for with the XRP ETF was everything was going to go smoothly. There was not going to be any major market crash. No reason to be panicking about jobs. No reason to be panicking about inflation. We're sort of in that situation. We're hoping for rate cuts. We're sort of in that situation now as well. We are getting rate cuts, and we're expecting to get another rate cut at the end of this month. And we were hoping that the SEC will approve the ETF, and we're very, very confident in that. We're 95, 100% confident in that. But a couple of things changed. The S1 changed. There's a new way of filing these ETFs and getting them approved. And there's also the government shut down, so we can't actually get anything approved right now. So we don't know when is the ETF going to get approved, because no one knows when the shutdown is going to end. So no one really knows how to front run this trade. And secondly, it might be a surprise the day it gets approved. It might be a sudden surprise. Let's say the shutdown ends and a week later we get the approval of the XRP ETF. People might not be thinking that these ETFs are now on the way because we don't know the exact date. So the day it gets announced might be a surprise, leading not to a sell the news because we don't know when the news is. And buy the rumor because we don't know when the ETFs are going to actually come out. No one has a set date anymore. We don't have that deadline to go off. So essentially, we don't know when to buy the rumor, or the market doesn't know when to buy the rumor, and they don't know when to sell the news. So the news itself could be a surprise, and because it could be a surprise, it can actually lead to a pump on the day. So with all of this going on, it's not something I'm willing to trade. I could try and trade. I could still try to do a long position now. And then the day it comes out, and it pumps initially, because I think it will pump initially, then sell it, then put a short on, wait a few days, and then buy it again. You can try and do that, but I'm not interested in that. I think it's risky. I think most people will lose out because they're emotional traders, and they wouldn't be able to make profit, and because of the emotions, and they'll use too much leverage, they'll get wiped out before it goes up. I'm just willing to buy, hold. If I'm using leverage, I'm just buying a small leverage position to just hold long term, and then I'm waiting for the effects. I'm waiting. I don't really care about this part of the trade. Remember, this is Bitcoin going in to the buying the rumor. This is the sell the news, and then the third part was the actual money flowing in. I don't really care about the buy the rumor anymore. I don't really care about the sell the news anymore. I just care about stage 3, which is liftoff, in my opinion, which is the money actually coming in to into XRP and the altcoin market and pushing it further up. And that comes with sentiment, that comes with actual money coming in, that comes with the right market conditions. I'm just going to prepare for stage 3. And what does that mean is buy the dips and hold on. That's what I'm doing. Again, that's not the right strategy for everyone. Crypto is risky. If we go into a bear market tomorrow, I'm prepared for it. Remember, I only give a 60% chance to going to all these targets, the $5, $6, $7, $8, $10, the perfect altcoin season. I only give a 60% chance to it, which is actually quite a large chance, risk to reward. However, I do put a 25% chance that inflation continues to stay high. I do put a 15% chance that the jobs market crashes and we go into recession before all of this takes place as well. But I am most convinced that we will continue this bull market, and I'm waiting for stage 3, which is the liftoff, which can be that $10 XRP, which can be that pump a few days after the ETF, which can be the ETF being launched as early as Monday, Friday, depending on when this US shutdown ends. The other thing to take into consideration is if this US shutdown lasts more than 4 weeks, that's when it becomes concerning for the whole market. Not only do we not get an XRP ETF within the next 4 weeks, we will not get any data, and we won't get CPI data, PPI data. That means when we come on to, let me bring you this chart. When we come on to the FOMC meeting on the 29th of October, Jerome Powell might say, we don't have enough data, we're in the blind, we're blind right now, we're going to cut rates for now, but this could be the wrong decision because we've got US shutdown, and then that will bring uncertainty to the markets, and the markets might crash. So there is that side to it as well. If this US shutdown actually goes on more than 4 weeks, then we can be in trouble, or when the market starts anticipating the US shutdown is going to take longer than 4 weeks, that's when we can be in trouble as well. So there's always risk to this, but I'm quite optimistic about it all. Let's move on to some more stories. Remember, Martyn is actually now on holiday, so he won't be going live after this show. But if you have any questions about anything I've just said, please do let me know in the live chat. Remember, we're not like other YouTube channels. We like to interact with our chat, and if that makes it more boring, I apologize, but we do care about our audience. And we don't want anyone being left behind. I'm sorry about I've explained that now. And don't you think that US shutdown puts back ETF approvals? Of course it does. They cannot approve these ETFs until the shutdown is over. Northumberland says, Jamie. Kevin Crash says, never will hit 10 if... I've already answered these. Where was I? Oh, here we go. Jerry says, what's happening, Sensei? The market is nuts. I'm extremely nervous. Tech is holding up. The stock market and gold and silver are going ballistic, and crypto. To me, this does not make sense. The markets never makes. It's very rare that in the history of the stock market, everything makes sense. Because emotions don't make sense, and most of the stock market is traded on emotions. So you will go crazy trying to just go after what makes sense, because many things don't make sense in the market. So you have to adjust how you think when you're investing in the markets, because in the markets nothing makes sense. So let me try and digest your question. So what's happening? The market is nuts. I'm extremely nervous. I apologize. Sorry that you're extremely nervous. It's not. The market is not for the faint-hearted, unfortunately, and you really need to just. If you are feeling emotional, which it sounds like you are because you are nervous, it's most probably just a time to step back and maybe reconsider how you're investing. Maybe what's best for you, which is best for most investors in the world, is having a few ETFs or finding a financial advisor and just not worrying about the markets, generating an income, putting it into the S&P 500 and a basket of ETFs, or handing it over to a financial advisor and earning 10% a year, and just taking away that stress, because most people probably end up making more money that way, and it removes the whole stress of the markets. Essentially, when you're investing in the markets and into these funds, you just want to invest long term. You shouldn't need the money in the next 5-10 years. You shouldn't have much debt, all of this sort of stuff, and that removes the emotion. Tech is holding up the stock market, and gold and silver are going ballistic. So yeah, tech is holding up the market. So the reason the tech is holding up the market is because AI is so strong, and that's bringing a lot of money into the markets. The markets are on a risk-on environment right now. Rates are coming down. We're expecting another 2 rate cuts. So the markets are still very bullish. Are they overbought? Are they overvalued? Most likely, yes. but you can't really go against the rally. My philosophy is always don't fight the trend, and if the trend is towards the upside, that's probably where the markets are going to continue going. So the trend is very much the upside. Tech is definitely holding up because of where we are. Um, Interest rates coming down. AI, we just saw this new AI deal today made. AI is holding up the markets. It doesn't seem like there's a bubble. AMD surges after securing a 5-year deal with OpenAI. So OpenAI continuing to need more chips. Gold and silver are going ballistic, and crypto. So gold and silver are going up because of the gold and silver is quite a nice trade because it's actually going up because of two reasons. One is because of the uncertainty and generally in the world right now. That's wars, that's Trump being president, that's tariffs. It's also because of the dollar coming down. Dollar's down 10% this year. We've also got interest rates coming down, and essentially when interest rates come down, people flock to gold and silver because it can give them a better return when interest rate goes up. And we were discussing this on our Electrum event on Sunday. Thank you to all the Electrum members and above who joined that event. We were doing a trivia event, and this was one of the questions: what happens to gold when interest rates go up? Well, when interest rates go up, gold goes down because people can make money holding money in uninvested cash or in savings accounts. So there's no need to hold gold. But when interest rates come down, gold can give you a better return. That's another reason gold and silver are going up. Also, central banks around the world are loading up on gold like never before because of the uncertainty, because they want to back up their holdings. So to me, it all does make sense, and I hope that makes more sense to you, Jerry, now. But for sure, the markets are crazy, and that's what Songs for Space says. Oh, we've got Martyn in the chat. We'll go on to his comments in just a second. Let me get through everyone. How is Martyn sleeping knowing he doesn't own any XRP in crypto? I think perfectly fine. I think he's sleeping better because he doesn't have to worry about a 50% crash, which all of us crypto investors do always have on the back of our minds. 50, 60, 80% crashes. Songs for Space says, let me just see, did anything? I was checking that. Can you do a deep dive on selling lots? No, because we don't have that in the UK. You can watch it. Martyn's done a video on it. You just type in Robinhood tax lots, and you'll find out everything. Just type in Martyn Lucas Investor Robinhood tax lots. I'm pretty sure it'll come up. Unreasonable, insane market. Yeah, always. The market's always unreasonable and insane. It overreacts both ways. I don't think Martyn is trading. Sensei, do you think XRP is the number one out of all the ISOs? Yeah, I think so, definitely. That's my thoughts. Walker wonders why is here. Hello all. Walker, I saw your message. No, you don't need to send me your address. You will just input it when I give you the code. So keep an eye out for that. Sometimes it's just time to step back and take a break, like many are at these valuations. Yes. Martyn says, I'm 100% in Coca-Cola. Yes. Thank you, Martyn. Roy says, so the question is, till when is the ETFs pushed back? Mid-October will be no more in play. Mid-October can still be in play if the US shutdown ends in the next week or so, or in the next week. Getting left behind, says Songs for Space. I'm not panic selling, says Martyn. Beans on Toast says rates are going down, by the way. Yep. Rates are not going down, by the way. Yes, they are. The rates went down last month. I'm very confident they'll go down this month, and I'm half certain they'll go down in December. I'm 100% certain we'll get another rate cut in 2024. And there's only 2 more FOMC meetings, so that means out of one of them. And I'm pretty confident we'll get them at both of them. I remember we'll be covering that at the end of this month as well. Martyn is in the chat. Yes, he is. I share all my trades on socials for all to see. Yes, make sure you go and check out Martyn's X. That's in the description as well. Check out Discord as well. He puts it there as well. My energy and REE stocks are doing great. Great. Your energy and REE stocks. That's great to hear. Walker wonders why. Congratulations on winning the quiz on Sunday as well. That was great fun. You came in at the very last question. You got it right. Martyn, why didn't he invest in XRP as well? He did, but he sold it. I hope not, Martyn. Says someone. 10 years is going up. Martyn says, all I'm doing, I will share when I do, is trimming using tax lots to buy back lower. That's the trades Martyn is making. Songs split. My REITs and capital companies and energies have been hammered down like 10% in a week, but it's a good thing I'm buying slowly. REIT, those are the REIT, the housing stocks, isn't it? I can't hold any crypto or S&P 500 at these values. That is what Martyn is saying. Martyn, about XRP is going to go to an all-time high. No, or do you think it's going to go down again? Red pill awakening. Martyn thinks the market's going to crash before. He does believe it's still going to go to $10 and all the good things, and Bitcoin and Ethereum going to 10,000. But he thinks there will be a crash before that happens. Over 50% crash. I think that's the reason he sold. I scalp trade and swing trade. I'm not an investor anymore. I changed my strategies quickly and buying and quickly out, selling for smaller profits, 0.5 to $5 gains. Yes, thank you, Stephen Lewandowski. Martyn says crypto cannot escape a crash if the overall markets crash. They definitely will not. They will crash more if the overall markets crash. AC says, hi, Sensei, can you please give some support and resistance price for Archer? Thank you. We'll see if we can come on to it. You can always do a chart request for $4.99. We do actually have a chart request I need to do now. Who was it from? It was from Thomas, so let me do that now. Cheers, mate. Have another one. Have a great one. Martyn, so there is an inevitable crash coming soon, you think? That's what Martyn thinks, yes. Coca-Cola can't escape either, although it will go down less. Yeah, I agree, Blue Bus Driver. If there's going to be a proper crash, Coca-Cola will be crashing as well. But if the markets come down slowly, then Coca-Cola can do well. But essentially, Martyn wants to be invested in the markets still, but go with a Coca-Cola strategy. Again, I'll let Martyn speak for himself. I think he's explained it plenty of time. But yeah, Blue Bus Driver, I completely agree. If the markets crash 50%, and if you're, in my opinion, if you're predicting a stock crash, you would just short the market. Obviously, Martyn doesn't do any shorts, or you just put your money in cash, which is another way of doing it, or putting it in gold and silver, which is what a lot of investors are doing it. This is Martyn's strategy. Again, no one should be following anyone's strategy. Everyone should be doing their own research. Makes you wonder if you look at financials, REITs, high dividend stocks are crashing. Martyn says, red pill. The valuation of the markets compared to GBP has never been higher. Mike is here. Good God, game over. We love it, Mike. Thank you for joining in. I've got a couple chart requests to do. I did want to just look at, was it VU over money supply? I just want to see the valuation of VU compared to how much money there is in the system. Is it at an all-time high yet? Actually, we'll have to do it with this S&P. SPY over M2. Yeah, so the highest valuation ever compared to the amount of money in the system was in 2020. And right now we are getting close to that. That's when I'll start getting really worried about valuations if the S&P 500 goes up a little bit more. We are at the highest level about compared to how much money. So the S&P hasn't actually made an all-time high since 2000. If you look at the M2 money supply, or how much money is actually in the system now because of all the printing going on, it hasn't made an all-time high since the 2000s. That shows you how big of a bubble we had in 2000, how much the stock market went up in. Going into dot-com crash, it was massive, and we are getting very close, but still about another 10% away. So we'll see. If we start, we'll keep an eye on this chart, because if we start getting into that territory, even I will start probably potentially opening up shorts on the market. Yeah. But I think this is a euphoric period. That's why I think we only have a few months left, because I do think the market's overvalued, but I think it will go into a euphoric period before we do have a crash. So I think there will be euphoria. I guess Martyn's saying that the euphoria has already come and we are overvalued already. I think we are overvalued, but at the end of these cycles, you get that euphoric period and then a crash. The question is, has the euphoric period, are we in the euphoric period right now, or is that coming in the next month or two where we get another massive move towards the upside? I think it's coming in the next month or two before we do get that crash. I think 2026 is going to be a terrible year for the markets by the end of it, but I think 2025, maybe the first month of 2026 is going to be that parabolic final move before we get that crash. Okay, so the chart request was from Thomas Monroe. He said, can we have a look at Mobix? So yes, we can have a look at Mobix. So thank you, Thomas, for the super chat. Let's have a look at Mobix. So Mobix, again, 84 cents has always been the nice level of support. We have consistently seen a bounce at those levels. So that's the areas that we've been trading this on the upside to be buying it around 84 cents. And once again, we have moved towards the upside. The question is if we come back down to 84 cents for like another fifth time, I do think we'll break 84 cents and maybe go down to 60 cents. That's always the warning here. And I remember Mobix is a very low market cap stock, so I wouldn't be putting too much in anyway because it's very volatile. I'm neither ultra. I do actually hold Mobix, but I'm not. I'm neither ultra bullish or bearish on the stock, especially where we are right now. If we break $1.18, then the question is, do we break $1.44, and then we can flip ultra bullish because then we're going into multi-year highs or highs from 2024 or January of 2025, and then we can start changing market structure. But for now, we are stuck between 84 cents and $1.10. Or between 84 cents and $1.50. That's sort of in the middle of no man's land. The argument is there is accumulation going on. You've got higher highs, higher lows, but you don't really have higher lows. Recently, you've got the same low that's been holding, thankfully. If it's a very hard one, I wouldn't. There's no clear trade for me right now. There's no clear this is bullish, this is bearish for Mobix. We don't normally say that, but if there is no clear signal, I'm not going to pretend that there is a clear signal. Longer term, it does look fine. It's just a very erratic stock and it's a very small market cap, so it's very hard to have a look at. I'll keep an eye on 84 cents. If we come back to 84 cents, be careful. We might break down to 55 cents. If we break $1.42, then that's when I can confidently say the market has changed and we are heading up to new highs for Mobix: $1.81, $2.23, $2.44, $2.91. But right now we're sort of in the middle of a range. The range is between 85 cents and $1.45. I'm sorry I couldn't give you more, but there's just not much I can say on it. I know it's up 17% yesterday, but that doesn't really change much because it's very volatile anyway. If I bought at 84 cents, I'd be looking to potentially offload a little bit. Blue Bus Driver, Coca. Where were we? Good job, Sensei. Thank you, Mike. I'm very happy to see you here. Blue Bus Driver says Coca-Cola is already oversold. People will move cash to Coca-Cola once fear hits. Coca-Cola is already oversold. We can look at some indicators on Coca-Cola. I don't know if it's officially oversold. Let's have a look. Coca-Cola. The daily time frame is not oversold. What about the longer time frames? 3-day time frame is not oversold. Potentially the weekly. No, in no major time frame is Coca-Cola oversold. Definitely not in the monthly, not in the weekly, not in the 3 days. If you're talking about the RSI and the official definition of oversold, it's not oversold. Lance Strength says, good morning. Good morning, Lance Strength. BNB flipped XRP last night. Yes, we did talk about that. Remember, I said I am not worried about that at all because it didn't flip it because XRP was going down. It flipped it because BNB was doing very well at the time. So very different to something that happened in 2022, for example. I see a headline saying the bubble of people looking for a bubble has burst. A bubble of people looking for, meaning that people are being complacent, overconfident. I see a headline saying the bubble. Let me just see if that's a major news story because I don't take the same. The bubble and people searching for AI bubble has burst. What that means for stock? I think that story is talking about searches for AI bubble burst. Searches for AI bubble burst. So people for searching for AI bubble are no longer searching for it. Yeah, so they are no longer expecting. But I guess it's because of all. Yeah, there's two ways that you can look at it. One is because everyone's so used to it, or you can look at it because there is more evidence to suggest that it's not a bubble. Everyone's been calling a bubble for 3 years and it hasn't popped yet. So, bang on, Sensei. Thank you, Blue Bus Driver. Bubble territory. I think we'll get into bubble territory over the next few months in crypto and stocks. I think they'll crash as well, but I, it's the question of the century. Is AI a bubble? Probably not. Can it go into bubble territory? Yes. Are we there now? Probably not. Martyn says, "I want to be ahead of next events. I feel a huge weight of responsibility to you guys to be responsible, not just to keep buying. Yes, never follow Martyn's trades. Don't just buy Coca-Cola because Martyn's buying Coca-Cola. Don't just buy XRP because I like XRP. These are very high risk trades in my opinion. Going all in on one stock is very high risk. Having a large crypto portfolio is very high risk. Most people shouldn't be investing high risk. Most people should just have a financial advisor dealing with their portfolios, or if you're or having a wide variety of ETFs and commodities in your portfolio." Human Being says, "Thank you, Martyn." Thick Boy Customer says, "Morning, chaps. Bit late getting on this morning. What happened so far?" Oh, we've gone through a lot. Thick Boy Customs. I don't trust BNB, but the numbers don't lie. Yeah, I don't like BNB at all. I wouldn't buy it. Martyn says, "This channel is not a hyper pump channel. Protecting money is as important as trying to make money." Yes, exactly. Mobix Labs, I'm pretty sure it's subject to being delisted this month if it can't hover $1 for at least 10 days. Oh, thank you, Josh Monroe, for bringing that to our attention. Again, Mobix is a very, very high risk stock once again. Thanks, Sensei. No worries. Did you do the chart on Mobix? Yes, I did, Mike. Thank you. XRP won't do anything till regs and ETFs if they both get the go ahead. Institutional money is the only mover of price. Retail does not. Okay, well that's unfortunately Zulu Warrior. You are completely wrong with that statement. Retail moves the market. We've seen that's why we've got 4-year cycles, and that's why we get that euphoric period, and that's why we get those massive gains at the end. When you see those massive gains come in, and when you see that searches go up, that's retail. Background in the bear market, in the beginning of the bull market, yes, institutional money comes in. But when you get the massive surges at the end of the bull market, especially in the altcoins, that is retail moving it. That's why sentiment is important. And we haven't had ETFs for the last year, and we haven't had many regulations in the last year. And before we got any crypto legislation for stable coins, which doesn't really affect the XRP at all, we went from 30 cents to $3 based on no ETFs and no regulations. And no real institutions. Where were we? Coca-Cola is not oversold. Spaghetti is not on the chart, but I mean people have different definitions of oversold. Red Pill Awakening says, "What is the lowest you think XRP can go during the crash? And do you have a time frame of when?" Oh, how long can XRP go during a crash? Until we have a definite top and we can start saying, okay, we've got a big lower high, we are going into a bear market. I can't really predict how low XRP can go. If we were going to crash today and go into a bear market today on XRP, if we're set at $3 right now, you can go below. You can certainly go below $1 if the bear market started now. This was XRP already peaked at $3.40. If we went into a bear market, you can expect 50 to 80%. So 50% will take you to 177, but 80% can take you to 66 cents. I mean, what did it do last cycle? How far did it go down? Even though it didn't have a euphoric top, it went down 84%. I mean, yeah, if we're in a bear market, XRP can go down to 50 cents. That would be an awful situation. Everyone would lose a lot of money, including myself. I'll get liquidated in all of my leverage positions. My spot positions would pretty much be back to where it's been for the last 5 years. But yeah, I am prepared for XRP to go down to 50 cents. As I said, we could be going into bear market any day. I don't expect that to happen, but you have to be realistic. XRP can go down to 50 cents in a bear market if the bear market started tomorrow. I don't think that will happen, but if it does, you know what? Instead of being upset, I'll find a way to make some more money and buy some more XRP. Thomas Monroe says, yes, Mick, he's just done it. Yes, thank you, Thomas, for that super chat. Martin says, oversold on the chart is very different than selling. Oversold on a chart is very different than selling to buy higher growth. Thank you, Martin. Mike says, okay, sorry. William Meyer says, good morning, everybody. W says, but what makes XRP ETF worth buying over Bitcoin? Well, they're different assets, aren't there? Bitcoin, in my opinion, will have less growth. XRP will have more growth. XRP is an altcoin, less market cap, so less money coming in, can move it more. I think XRP's technology is better than Bitcoin's. That's my thoughts. You can do your own research. Songs for Space says, saw something about Coca-Cola having first time in history of negative cash flow. Yes, that is true. I think right now Coca-Cola does have negative cash flow, but that's because of business operations. I think they've got, I think it's either a Costa coffee thing or one of their something else. But yes, they do have, and I don't think it's the first time in history though. But they do have negative cash flow at the moment. Call in Martin says Rallo 1. It's Martin going to call in. Stephen Lindowski says oil. I'm going to probably end the show in a second anyway, but we will wait to see if Martin calls in. Stephen Lindowski says oil all in now. Kimberly says good morning, Sensei and all. Ibrahim Wolf says this youngster all about charts. He hope you are enjoying your holiday. You'll be millionaire by Xmas. Watching Coca-Cola ad will feel good for Xmas. Yes, that would be great. Martin's going to love watching the Coca-Cola adverts. Martin says the stock is used like a piggy bank to buy riskier stocks at times. When I say oversold, I mean sold to buy high risk at times of overvaluation. Sold to buy high risk at times of overvaluation. The stock is used like a piggy bank to buy riskier stocks at times. Yes, I definitely agree. If the markets crash and there's a recession, people will see opportunities in some high tech stocks. They will sell their defensive positions, such as Coca-Cola, to buy those lower risk. Those higher risk. They'll sell their defensive to buy their high risk positions because they can get more money. And in times where people think the market's going to crash, they might buy defensives or money market funds, or put it in cash or short the market. At least Bitcoin has 21 million supply, but what are the factors that will make XRP ETF worth buying? What would make the factors that might make the XRP ETF worth buying is the whole utility around XRP. So if you research XRP and the companies it works with, Ripple, the company, how they use XRP, other companies that use XRP, and you look at the utility, XRP actually does something. XRP goes up in value over time. So it's that treasury asset. It's got a fixed supply as well. So just like Bitcoin has 21 million, XRP has a fixed supply as well of 100 billion. It doesn't make a difference how many you have. It's still a fixed supply. So XRP can act as digital gold, and the beauty of it is it can also what's it called? Have utilities for companies who actually use it, and we've reported on a lot of companies that buy it as an asset, as a treasury asset, but also using it to make their processes more efficient. Market can go higher, I just know it. Lol, says Songs for Space. XRP crashing dreams. Retail does not move the market. Retail can move the market, and it does. There's plenty of evidence to suggest that. That negative cash flow information is not fully accurate until the earnings report in a couple of weeks. Thank you for the information, Martin. I think it was last earnings where they went negative. I don't know. Which I think last earnings they had negative cash flow. Martin says negative cash flow information is not fully. Oh, it's not fully accurate. Yeah, I think Martin has more information on that. Media Digitization Solution says, gosh, there are some very inexperienced people on here. Sensei, Ripple is about to become a bank. Enough said. $50. Martyn, yeah, that's why I didn't give them much attention. I just said, just do some research. Martyn Lucas Investor says, which I expect a good beat for the earnings. Soul of Jeff said 99% don't even know what the symbol of XRP they will lose. Woking London says Tony. Oh, Woking London, you're a bit behind on the stream, mate. You need to, you need to come forward. Jerry says, would you buy gold and silver now? Would I buy gold and silver now? I've been saying buy it for the last 4 years. Would I buy it now? I mean, I did buy some silver recently, so I can't really say no. Yeah, I would, but again, if you're holding it long term, I think silver can still have a lot of steam left in the bag. Where can gold go? Maybe another 10-15%. I mean, it's absolutely berserk where gold is right now. Wow, Sensei, you're so optimistic even through losses. Like your attitude. Thank you very much, Red Pill Awakening. Well, when you get the losses is when the opportunities are. Blue Bus Driver, I agree, media, my man. Why would anyone sell XRP is beyond me, but everyone has their own reasoning. Yes. Soul of Jeff says, investing in poison or the rails for a new financial system. Stephen Landowski says, Martyn Lucas Investor, Discord, stock news up 36% for the year. Stock news in the Discord. Let's have a look. Where is the Discord? Here it is. Stock news. Oh, look at this. This is Stephen Lewandowski. Let me see if I can put this on the screen. You want me to share this, Stephen? So let's share it. So this is Stephen Lewandowski. Oh, why is it not showing on the... It's weird. Let me see if I can... Oh, I can't. Let me put it on... Put it on this screen here. Sorry, I can't really get this working for some reason. There we go. Maybe I can put it here. Oh, no. Why can't I get this to work? Let me just go into... Just give me a second. Let me see if I can sort this out. Okay, let me see if this will work now. There we go. Oh, this is on Discord. Stephen Lundowski said on Martyn Lucas Discord, stock news up 36% on the year 2025. Congratulations to Stephen Lewandowski, who's managed to, oh, look at here, year to date, Stephen Lewandowski has managed to make $70,000 on his portfolio. Congratulations to Stephen Lewandowski. That's a massive achievement. And that's the lesson there is always stick to what you know best. And Stephen Lewandowski always knows what he's doing. He knows his strategy. He sticks to his strategy. It's a unique strategy and it works for him, so he continues to do it. React Network token news going nuts. Thank you for that. I don't know what that is. Say Ray says, good morning, Sensei. Hope you and your wife are well. Thank you for bringing us this information this morning. You have a calm and calculated outlook, and I appreciate you. God bless. Thank you, Say Ray. Really appreciate that comment. Thank you for being here this morning. Songs for Space says, okay, yeah, it said the first time in decades, not history. Got to watch out for those headlines. One said centuries. Yeah, you have to be, yeah. See? I know about Coca-Cola. Why is this being really slow? I don't know why that's happening. Why is this being so slow? Oh, there we go. Just crashed. Here we go. It should be better. Where were we on the comments? Thank you everyone for tuning into the show. Remember, Martyn is on holiday. Please do make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will probably have to end the show. However, I will come back later on as well, hopefully, to do some more videos, and maybe while the stock market is trading as well. I won't be here for the opening bell, but maybe a little bit later. You might also see a reviews from Martyn as well already start coming out. Let me just go through the comments and then we can end the show. Okay, yeah, you said the first time in decades, not history. Got to watch out for them. Yes, exactly. Why do you think Coke will beat? I'll let Martyn answer that. That's at Martyn Lucas Investor. Why do you think Coke will beat? Say Ray says Swift only moves messaging. The XRPL sends money and messages. The game is over. Did you sell your XRP or hold if you had any? I'm holding. I'm not selling. Songs to Space. I think. Let me just make sure I've got the right chat open over here. Yeah. Except Jimmy and 21 Solar Jeff. Figure out what that means. I have no idea what that means. XRP2 The Sky. Why is this channel owner commenting constantly? Feels like he needs to let his presenter shine. Stop being such a XRP. Everyone has the right to comment. I don't, especially the channel owner. That's a strange comment. Brian says, "Hi Sensei." Wallace says, "BNB just took number 3 spot. Something better happened." Yeah, we've discussed that a few times now. Just joined, so we'll rewatch. Again, not concerned about BNB taking over. It's not because XRP is not doing well. It's because the sentiment is with BNB right now, and that's actually good for the market. Is it surprising how many people have no idea what crypto is, the technology behind it, the purpose it serves? Yes, I'm going to just go. Should we go over to members only? I'm going to go over to members only mode, just so I can make sure I've got all the members' questions answered before I end the stream. So let me just go over to members only mode. Here we go. Just want to make sure I answer all the paying, because it's the members that keep these shows running. If the members weren't here and if people weren't doing super chats, the live shows themselves rarely make any significant amounts of money. So I want to thank all the members and give all members a chance to ask a question. So if any members have asked a question, please do ask now, and we'll be ending the show in a couple minutes time. I think crashing high dividend stocks are foreshadowing something. What do you think it's foreshadowing? Songs for Space? It's essentially everyone's going risk on, not risk off. Brian says, "Hi Sensei." Hi Brian, how are you doing? Just joined, so we'll rewatch. Sick Boy Custom says, "Just sitting here being patient as I have invested in XRP right from 2017. Originally I bought it to short it, but then I did the research and just sat on it, even though I bought more coins. I believe in XRP. That's the way to look at it. Buy, hold long term." What's a good amount to XRP to hold? How many coins do you think? That depends on everyone's situation. You're not going to get rich off 10 XRP. You could certainly get rich off 10,000 XRP. But everyone's situation is different. Not everyone can go out and buy 10,000 XRP. That's certainly I can't go out and buy 10,000 XRP. It's working, my strategy, and I have rules to follow. Yes, exactly, Stephen. Congratulations to you. Gold just hit 4,000. Are you kidding? That is just, I mean, I know we've been saying it for the last 3 years, and I know I've been saying it for the last year, and I know I've been saying it over the last month. But just crazy to see. We'll do a video on gold as well. Don't go against the trend. I've been saying, people are like, I'm going to sell gold. I'm going to sell gold. Don't go. I'm going to short gold. People were coming into the chat. Remember when we were around 3,350 going, I'm going to short gold. And I said, you are crazy. Do not go against the trend. This is accumulation for the next move up. And we're up on gold in the last few weeks, last 6 weeks or so, up another 18%. I mean, that's unheard of. Sensei, my friend, can you check? Ask me, please. Anyway, we don't have time right now, otherwise I would. That's insanity. Gold is not about a gain for me, it's insurance. If you do want to become a member, here is the membership link. And you can always ask a question as well. Gold is not about a gain for me, it's insurance. Yes, exactly, Jerry. I mean, gold, in my books, is if the market is extremely oversold, you sell the gold, you buy the risk on. Also, it's just like, it's in times of crisis. It's like money when things go wrong, you have the gold. It's like a insurance. Yeah, as you said, it's insurance. It's like if you need it, it's a last ditch attempt. You go out and you sell your gold, whether that's an ETF or your physical gold. but weirdly, so the last 3 years has been the best investment out of many investments out there. It's like one of the top investments in the last year or so. I've been holding for 3 years in crypto. My bag is up 453%, zero profit taken. Thank you, XRP. Congratulations. There's nothing wrong with taking profits. An exclusive members only event today at 2 p.m. CDT. Your chance to ask questions directly to your CEO live on the show. Yes, we are having a CEO event today. It is members only. Your chance to become a member now. Press the link over here to get, lets you become a member. You will see the interview first. It's members only first. You can ask your questions directly to a CEO. It's hover aircraft. It's an eVTOL. It's very interesting. Plus, you get all the other perks and benefits of becoming a member. So I'll give everyone a couple minutes in case anyone wants to become a member. When the banks with printers are buying gold, it means something. Yeah. Central banks have never bought gold this fast. Good morning, Sensei. High energy reviews. Good morning. I'm actually about to end the show. How many people make them gains on XRP between $2.75 and $3 at least twice a month? Wash, rinse, repeat. Always take profits, says Stephen Lundaski. Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please do make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'm live every single morning. Martyn's now on holiday. You'll see some reviews come out from him. I'll be going on live at random times as well. So do make sure you are subscribed and hit the like button. But my main show is always a couple hours before the opening bell. Maybe it's 15 minutes later, maybe it's 15 minutes earlier, but it's always around that time, 2 hours before the opening bell. So always keep an eye out for it, or better so, put the notifications on. I'm not sure what's happening with my screen right now, but apart from that, thank you everyone for tuning in. I will see you later. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye bye.